Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to day 22 of my 31 Days of Horror in October. Now that we are getting on to day 22, why not review another vampire film? And I feel like this is probably one of the more underrated vampire films out there, and of course you can tell by the title, you can tell what the review's going to be on. But anyways, like I said before, if you haven't been catching up on these 31 Days of Horror in October, I've been reviewing one horror film per day for the month of October. Basically reviewing some of my personal favorite horror films of all time. And, you know, underrated ones, obscure ones, classics, slashers, remakes, etc., etc. So why not review one of my personal favorite vampire films? And of course you can tell, like I said by the title, that review is going to be on Near Dark. Now, Near Dark was released in 1987, directed by Kathryn Bigelow, well before the Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30 and all that stuff. She did Near Dark. Now, going into the director of Kathryn Bigelow, I really do enjoy her as a director. Really enjoy, you know, this film. Really enjoy Point Break. Really enjoy Zero Dark 30 and The Hurt Locker. Also, really love Detroit from last year, which she directed. It was actually my second favorite film of last year, Detroit. Love Detroit. So you have this film, Near Dark, where you have a really solid cast involved with this. You have Adrian Pasdar, you have Jenny Wright, you have Lance Henriksen, of course the late great Bill Paxton, and Jeanette Goldstein. And this is just a very solid cast, and it's a vampire love story. Kind of before Twilight, but in my opinion, I think this did it better than Twilight. That's just my opinion. Because it's a vampire love story, but it's a vampire love story done well. With a very solid cast, very solid director. And, you know, the story, you know, is very, very simple. You know, you have, I'll just read it here on the back. You have a little boy from the Southwest, played by Adrian Pasdar, who basically falls in love with this girl played by Jenny Wright, and she's basically a part of this group of vampires headed by Lance Henriksen, and some of the other members. You have Bill Paxton, Jeanette Goldstein, and I think is really cool is that, you know, Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, and Jeanette Goldstein are all together, because, you know, Lance Henriksen and Jeanette Goldstein were both in Aliens together, and so was Bill Paxton as well. So I think it's really cool that they have all three people from Aliens in the same film again, because this was a year after they did Aliens. And basically, you know, it's a vampire love story, and I think it's really one of the best ones, or probably the best vampire love story, because I know that this film didn't really do that well when it came out, because it came out in '87, and also that same year you would have The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys came out in the summer of '87, but the thing is with The Lost Boys is that had a much bigger studio, Warner Brothers, while this one didn't really have much of a studio behind it. This came out, and I believe in October of '87, and it wasn't really shown that in many theaters, and it didn't do that well, so it kind of got overshadowed by The Lost Boys. But I still think this is a really good vampire film. I love the whole. I think the special effects are so well done. I think the special effects are very well done. You know, like some good gore, things like that. It's also written by Eric Red, same guy who was involved with the original Hitcher. I love the musical score as well. I think it's got a really good musical score. And, you know, Near Dark is really one of those films that I just think is a very underrated vampire film. seeing this cast together is really, really cool. I mean, having Lance Henriksen. Lance Henriksen is a guy who is an absolute legend. Of not only Aliens, but Terminator. I really enjoy him in Stone Cold with him and Brian Bosworth. Lance Henriksen has done tons of stuff that I've enjoyed. It's really cool having Jeanette Goldstein. Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton is just a guy I miss a lot. Miss Bill Paxton. And I really do think Kathryn Bigelow did a great job directing this film, because this is just really one of those vampire films that I just feel is a very underrated one. It'll definitely be in my top 5 vampire films. I'd probably say it's probably my second favorite vampire film behind The Lost Boys. Then Friday Night will probably be my number 3. And then after that, maybe if I do a vampire marathon one day, maybe I'll review some of my other favorite vampire films. But Near Dark, it's really hard for me to review this film because I don't want to give too much away about Near Dark. But if you're a big fan of vampire films and you want to see a really good one that you haven't seen before and never heard of, I recommend you give this one a look. It's a really well done vampire film. It's got some really great effects. I like it. It's a vampire love story, but done very well. You got a very solid cast involved with Bill Paxton, Jeanette Goldstein, Lance Henriksen, and on top of that too, you have a very solid director in Kathryn Bigelow, who would go on to do a lot of Oscar-nominated stuff like Zero Dark 30, among others. I think it's got a really great musical score. And on top of that too, I almost forgot that Tim Thomerson is in this from Uncommon Valor. Tim Thomerson. I almost forgot that he was in this too. So like I said, you have a very solid cast behind this film, and a very solid director, and it's a love story for a vampire love story, but told very well. A lot better than Twilight, in my opinion. I think this is a better. You want to see Twilight done the right way. You got to see Near Dark. I think it did it the right way. It's a vampire love story, but done very well, and I think it's got some nice blood in there. I love the whole finale at the end when the sun comes up and then Bill Paxton gets messed up, things like that. But this film is just really, really solid. I really have nothing much more to say about Near Dark. It's really one of those films I don't want to ruin, because if you are a big fan of vampire films and you want to see one that you haven't seen yet, I recommend you give this one a look. So that is pretty much it for my review for Near Dark, and thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, take care.